Welcome to our podFLOW 1 class. My name is Nafisa, and we're going to start today kneeling down in Vajrasana pose. So you all have a block, you may or may not want to use it. We're going to come forward and you can either sit back on your heels or you can use the block to sit on to offer a little bit more support. So find your way into a comfortable kneel down position, whatever that looks like for you. And as you settle in, feel your sitting bones rooting down into the block or the mat or wherever you're making contact, and allowing for a nice long spine, closing your eyes, and just begin to drop into your natural breath. Today we're going to be moving towards a beginning level arm balance pose, and that really teaches us about how to cultivate discipline in our practice. How we build strength, we'll find some longer holds, but most importantly always, we want to begin and continue the thread of the breath throughout the practice. So we're going to start together with 3 cleansing breaths. So begin by exhaling all the breath from your lungs. And from here, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, all the way to the top. And then open the mouth and exhale through the mouth. And again, just like that, deep breath in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. And one more time, deep breath in through the nose. This time, come to the top of your breath and you're going to hold for a moment. And now exhale, let it all go. Good. From here, you're going to seal your lips and breathing in and out through the nose. Begin to cultivate your Ujjayi breath, or victorious breath, or ocean-like breath. This is a slight constriction in your throat. You're breathing in and out through the nose by way of your throat. So you'll feel a little texture come to the breath and even a little bit of sound that mimics maybe wind blowing through the trees or the sound of the ocean, however you interpret it. Now this Ujjayi breath is a foundational breath for the practice. And whether you utilize it only here or throughout the warm-up or when you really need it in the more challenging poses, it's always here for you to drop into. We'll stay focused on the breath through the entirety of our practice. Now from here, open your eyes and you're going to make your way into a tabletop position, which is hands and knees, all fours. You can move the block out to the side. It'll be available for you to use throughout the practice in different cases. Now wrists are right underneath the shoulders and fingers are spread. The hands should be outer shoulder width distance and your knees are right underneath your hips. Exhale all the breath from your lungs. Feel nice long spine. And inhale, cow pose. Belly dips towards the earth. Now we find the lengthening through the front line of the spine, shoulders back. And exhale, cat. Press down into the mat, curling around your back towards the sky, pressing hands, knees, toes down. And again, inhale, cow. And find that nice deep breath we were beginning with. Open up through the heart. Exhale, cat. Pressing around your back, pulling belly in and up, finding your core strength here. One more round. Inhale, cow. And light in the neck, but lifting the gaze. And exhale, cat. Press, curl, and around your back, body to the sky. Good. On your next inhale, come to tabletop position again. Walk your hands about a handprint forward. Turn your toes under, and exhale, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Now first down dog of class, you might feel like pedaling the feet a little bit, bending the knees, just taking some movements to begin to organize your body a little bit. This pose invites more effort than the previous positions we've been in. We want to find that, but always with a sense of balancing that effort with ease and softness. So spreading the fingers, you're grounding down through the lower knuckles of the hands. Think about where your fingers meet your palm. Index knuckle, thumb knuckle, even pinky knuckle really rooting. The upper arm bones have a gentle spin as if the biceps are going to spin towards the front of the room. A little external rotation, which allows the heart to melt, the shoulders to drop. Everyone soften your knees just a touch. And as you do, see if you can draw your lower belly closer to the tops of your thighs. Lift your hips a little higher, spread through the sitting bones. And then maintaining that adjustment, begin to re-engage your legs again, but still keep the soft subtleness around the knees. There's the legs nice and strong. Take one more deep, full breath in, downward facing dog. And on your next exhale, take a slow walk to the top of your mat, meeting in Uttanasana forward fold with your feet hip width distance. Pause for a moment here with fingertips grounded. Take a moment to shake out the head and neck. Just reorient yourself in this new position. Start to really find a deep tone to your low belly. It's going to support your low back as we hinge from the hips like this. And you can stay here, or you can take your pinkies into your elbow creases for ragdoll and find a little sway side to side perhaps, just opening up some areas that might have a little bit of tension. When we feel that tension, we just notice, we cultivate our discipline by feeling that tension and inviting our breath. Just take one more deep breath in and out. And bottom of the exhale, release the arms if you have them. Toe heel your feet to touch, so big toes touch and heels are just slightly apart. Soften the knees, tone the belly, and inhale, rise all the way to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Upward salute. Arms sweep up to the sky, and once you reach your height, pause, and on the exhale, see if you can soften the shoulder blades down the back. Baby fingers spin in slightly, and that's going to help to support that same external rotation we had and found in our downward facing dog. Plug into the feet, engage your thighs, engage your low belly, and feel a nice long spine. A deep full breath as we reach up and lengthen. On your exhale, draw hands to heart center. Samastitihi. Shoulders are down the back. Find a little bit of pressure through the palms to open through the chest. One more deep breath here. And exhale, release the arms down. Inhale, arms sweep back to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, forward fold. That can be hands through heart or a swan dive, whatever feels best for your expression. Inhale, halfway lift and pause. Now hands can come to shins or thighs here, or if fingertips easily reach the floor, that works as well. And kind of lean forward into your hands, broaden through the collarbones, shoulder blades down the back. Good. Take a deep breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, back to half lift. From here, bend your knees, plant your hands, and exhale, step back, high plank position. Now from high plank, hands are outer shoulder, fingers spread, just like we found in our tabletop. More engagement here though, the low belly draws in and up, the thighs are lifting, and the heels are pressing back. The gaze should be a foot or two in front of you, so we keep this natural extension of the neck for the rest of the spine. Take a nice deep breath in, and on an exhale, begin to lower to the mat, elbows hug the side bodies. You're welcome to come to knees in that transition, or coming all the way down in plank. Good. Flip tops of the feet to the mat, plug them in so legs engage, and inhale, cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Hands are just under the shoulders, little to no weight in them. Exhale, back to the mat. Keep your legs strong, and let's do that again. Inhale, lifts you up, and exhale, back to the mat. Good, one more round here. Inhale, cobra pose. This time, as you're lifting, pause on the exhale, tops of the feet are rooting. You can now press into the hands a little bit and use that to navigate a little bit more height. Think forward and up rather than length before height. Yep, take one more deep breath in. And then exhale back to the mat. Good, hands under the shoulders, press yourself up to your knees. And sit back on your knees like we started. You can use your block. I'm going to do a little demo here of an option we have in those connecting vinyasas. We just did a lower down to cobra. We also have the option for another variation called chaturanga up dog. Now from here, in our plank position, what that will look like is on the inhale, we'll lean slightly forward, and on the exhale, bending your elbows so they, again, hug to the side bodies, and the shoulders should not dip below the elbows. They might be a little higher or level with. See, my gaze is still forward, my legs are strong. We exhale on that lower, and the inhale will bring us in through upward facing dog. Flipping to the tops of the feet, head of the arm bones back. Gaze is lifted, but the back of the neck is long. Thighs are lifting away from the mat, engaged. Take a deep breath. And on the exhale, we go back to down dog. Now one modification for that, if you want to do somewhere in between that, is from your plank, you can come to your knees, and you can also do this, as I mentioned, in cobra. You lower partway or to the earth. You can come up through up dog or cobra, and back to down dog. Now when we're in those options between progressions, you can also skip those and go straight to down dog as needed. Okay, let's come back to downward facing dog. All right, exhale all the breath from your lungs. Take a deep breath in to prepare, and on your exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to stand, arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, and step back to plank position. Stay for an inhale, lean slightly forward. Exhale, lower part weight or to the earth. Good. Inhale is upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And we'll do that again. Deep breath to prepare. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, upward salute, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Beautiful breathing, you guys. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Stay for an inhale, prepare and lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga or to the earth. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths here. Just feel the energy. You're already beginning to raise the places the body's already begin to warm up and open. Now, Ujjayi breath is always available when it feels like appropriate time. Oftentimes it can be a great way to anchor you back into your experience, into the present moment. Exhale all the breath from your lungs. Next, inhale, reach your right leg back and pause for a moment so we feel level in the hips, drawing left hip back as we extend through the right leg. Deep, full breath. Exhale, knee to navel. Curling around and press down. Find that cat pose again in your body. Inhale, right leg reaches back. Exhale, knee to navel. Pause for a moment and then look, step forward to a lunge. Right foot just inside of your right fingertips. Now, taking a moment in this first lunge position, kind of tint the fingertips, lift the back heel a little bit. This can help us organize the leveling of the hips. You want to drive the right hip back. Left hip will naturally come forward here. And we're going to take a little variation here called lizard pose. Walk your right foot out to the edge of the mat, lift the toes and turn them out slightly. Now, similar to our cat-cow positioning that we did before, our actions in the spine, you're going to bring your hands wide, tint the fingertips. Now, you have an option to modify bringing the left knee to the mat if that's going to serve you more. From here, we want to emulate those movements in the spine that we did with cat-cow with the breath. So as you inhale, think of dipping the belly a little bit, lifting through the heart. And on your exhale, press down into hands curling around your back. Your front leg might straighten a touch. Inhale again, and dip the belly, lift the heart. And exhale, curling around and press. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Now inhale back to neutral spine. Walk your right foot back in so you're in your first point lunge. From here, left hand either to floor or to your block. You can place it for a little more support there. Take your right thumb to your hip crease, pull it back, and then pressing into the left hand, begin to turn your rib cage, chest and gaze to the right. From there, the right arm's going to reach up to the sky for a twist. Now we're pressing into the left hand. It's going to inform the turning radius in your rib cage, and that's really where we want to find that turn. So think of driving the right hip back like we started with the left hip lifting so the hips are level. And then this radius turning is in the rib cage, right where we're most mobile in the spine. Nice, Nicole, good. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, right hand to the mat. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, lower or straight to dog. Inhale, open to the heart, up dog or cobra if you're flowing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths here. Just let that settle in. All right, moving that into the other side. Inhale, left leg back. Pause again for a moment and feel leveling. Immediately there's asymmetry, so we want to find that level as best we can. Deep breath in. Exhale, knee to navel, curling around, press. Find your strength here. Yeah. Inhale, left leg reaches back. Exhale, through knee to navel. Look, step forward to a lunge. And as soon as we land, we want to pause for a moment, get into this new position so we can activate the inner line of the legs in particular. So again, fingers can content, lift your back heel, but squeeze the left hip line back and the right hip will follow suit so we find level hips. That way we can carry it into this next position. Walk your foot out, a touch to the left, turn your toes out. And then again, we'll bring our hands wide. And we really want to get this action of pressing down to facilitate these actions. So right thigh is lifted or knee is to the mat. As you inhale, dip the belly a little bit, lift the heart. And these will be way more subtle versions of those cat-cows. And exhale, cat curling round your back, press down. Inhale, cow pose, belly dips. We pull the heart forward and through. And exhale, curl and round. Nice breathing, you guys. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Come back to a neutral spine on your inhale. Walk your left foot back in. Find your lunge position first. Level hips. Take your block or hand to floor. That's your option. Left thumb to hip crease. And we just kind of inspire the legs to get that squeeze as we begin to turn our torso to the left. And then the left arm reaches up. Good. Front knee is right over the ankle. Lean the head back a little bit so you get, that length in the spine. And once again, we want to coordinate in the legs so the front knee is right over the ankle. The right hip has a little bit of a lift, or oftentimes we need to find that. And then we're turning in the rib cage, allowing more of the shoulder to lead that than the hand. Nice long spine. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, left hand to the mat. Good. Move the block if you're using it. Inhale, step to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, let's find a collective exhale. Empty your lungs. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, gaze forward, step or hop, top of the mat. One last time with that transition. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. This time we're going to bend the knees, sit the hips, and inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. The arms are sweeping up by the ears, that the shoulders are down the back. Sit your weight a little bit more towards your heels. Think almost like you're tugging the kneecaps back. And then we want to pull the low belly in, supportive of the natural contours of the spine, and particularly the low back. So we want to round that. We want to keep that soft. Reaching up, take a deep breath. As you exhale, sit a little bit lower for 3, 2, 1. Good. Deep breath in. And exhale, hands to heart. That's full. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step to plank. Stay for an inhale. And exhale, lower or straight to down dog. You always have that option. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. As we come back to down dog, always coming back to the breath. Child's pose is also available at any point. If you need a little break, need to collect yourself, never hesitate to take care of yourself in here. This is your practice. All right, let's exhale all the breath. Inhale, reach your right leg back. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Inhale is warrior 2. Spin your back heel down and inhale, come all the way up. You might straighten the front leg at first a little bit and then bend into the knee and just find a new orientation here of the hips. So your right knee is pointed forward and turning almost towards your baby toe side. Your strong front thigh, knee is right over the ankle. We put a lot of emphasis on that front leg, so make sure the back leg is super strong. The left thigh is pressing back. All 4 corners of your left foot are rooted into the mat, and we're reaching just as equal through the left arm as the right. So shoulders are right over your hips. Find your focus. Check in with your breath. And we'll exhale together here. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse, warrior. Right arm lifts, left hand down the back leg or on the hip. Whatever serves you most. Really breathe deeply into your right side body here. Your knee is directly over your ankle, the front leg. Deepen in a little bit more to find that. Get this nice stretch here. One more deep breath in. Good. And exhale, extended side angle. Right forearm to thigh, left arm comes up and over your ear. We always want to start with foundation first, so remember the foundation we started and cultivated in Warrior 2. It's the same here. We just have a shift of weight. So press back through your left thigh, really feel grounded, then find the extension through your right arm and plugging all the way back into your back foot. Now with this foundation and length, begin to feel a little bit of mobilizing here. You can press into the right forearm and gently turn and steer your chest towards the sky. As we inhale, we find that length to prepare for that. And on the exhales, we turn. Beautiful, that's it. Keep low belly, low ribs knit in here. Good. Take one more deep breath in and out. Bottom of the exhale, inhale, come all the way to stand, 5-pointed star. Turn your toes out, heels in. And inhale, join the palms overhead to touch. Exhale, hands to heart, bend your knees for horse. And as we first come into horse, you might shift side to side a little bit, and shift in the weight. As you settle back in, toes are soft rather than gripping, so spread them out. Keep your low belly drawing in and up, tailbone long. Take your hands to your thighs and draw them down to your inner knees and press them apart here, so shoulders might even shrug a little bit. Preparing for a twist, take a deep breath in, and exhale, dip your left shoulder gaze towards the mirrors. Pausing on the inhale, you might back out just a touch. Use that next exhale to really drive the twist, pressing back through your left thigh as you turn. Inhale back to center. Exhale, dip your right shoulder gaze to the back of the room. Inhale again, find some length. And exhale, drive the twist, pressing through right thigh. Inhale back to center. Come on back upright. Inhale the arms up, straighten the legs. And then exhale, arms to a T and bring your feet parallel. So turn your toes slightly in. Deep breath to prepare. Exhale, Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. So hinge at the hips, soft through the knees, hands come to the earth. Inhale, find a little half lift to reorganize the spine length. And then exhale, fold, walk the fingertips back, either in line with toes or heels. You can also grab the outer feet if you prefer. Find softness, suppleness in the knee joints, strength in the thighs. We're looking for a long spine here. So almost imagining a sense of cobra pose here. Sometimes if the spine is rounding, it can be helpful to gaze more down and forward rather than back. Yeah. Good. Yeah, there we go. Good. Let's exhale all the breath from the lungs. And inhale, halfway lift. Stay low, pivot to a low lunge facing the front as you exhale. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga, or all the way to the earth. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And feel the residue of those postures, intelligence they invite into the body. We'll take what we learned from first side into the second side. Begin by exhaling all the breath from your lungs. Inhale, left leg, reach it back. Exhale, step through. Warrior two, spin your back heel down and inhale all the way up. And again, you might straighten the front knee just a little on that first one. Maybe pulse in and out a little bit to find it. Nice wide stance here. Your front heel is intersecting your back right foot arch. And again, we want the knee pointed forward, even slightly towards the windows. Find equal reach through fingers, equal press through feet. And the hips are level to the earth. You might not be square to the wall your heart is facing, but we find that leveling and the equal weight distribution. Now again, this is the base for our next two poses. So exhale completely. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse. Warrior, left arm up. Stay true to the front knee. It tends, the body follows the eyes, so we tend to straighten that front leg a little. So deepen into the front knee bend and breathe deeply into your left side body, focusing more on the side bend aspect of this pose. One more deep breath. And exhale, extended side angle, forearm to thigh. Right arm up and over the ear. Shoulder blade slides down the back, so the reach is more in the fingers, even the elbow as opposed to the right shoulder. Plug back through your right foot, all four corners rooting, thigh bone pressing back. And again, we get this beautiful extension now on the right side. So as you inhale, follow that pattern. On the exhale, press into the left forearm and turn yourself towards the sky. Yeah. Belly low, ribs knit in. We cinch up the core there to support that turning radius. And always back to the breath. Can you deepen the breath here? Good. One more deep breath in and out. Bottom of the exhale, use an inhale to come all the way up, five-pointed star. Turn your toes out, heels in. Join your palms to touch, back to horse pose. Exhale, bend the knees, hands to heart. Now this time we're going to find a longer hold here. So really find softness in the toes. Tailbone is heavy, low belly draws in. Maybe close the eyes here and come back to your Ujjayi pranayama. Just finding that slight constriction in the throat. Breathing in and out through the nose by way of the throat. Yeah, I can hear that sound. Sounds great. And just letting the heat build a little bit. The knees are wide. We find that perfect balance here of strength and ease. We want to find the effort that we can feel through the muscles that are working, but where can we soften? Shoulders, jaw, mind, toes. Those are great places to focus on softening, finding some ease. Let's take one more deep breath together. And on your exhale, see if you can go a little bit lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, inhale, come on up. 5-pointed star, good. Turn your toes slightly in again, so outer feet are parallel, and this time we're gonna bring the hands behind the back and interlace. Inhale, open the heart, soften through your knees. Exhale, hinge and fold, Prasarita C version. Wide-legged forward fold with chest expansion. Relax the head and neck. Sometimes we hold some tension after that transition, so you can shake it out a little bit. Some of you are doing that intuitively. You can bend one knee, the other. You can be still and straighten the legs a little more, bend them. Feel what works for you. Sometimes a little movement helps us to identify some areas that are stuck. Okay. Take one more deep breath here. By way of your low back, exhale, release your hands to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, pivot to lunge, facing the front. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now we're going to take that progression and we're going to move it breath to movement. To get a little heat built in the body, natural heat coming from your work here. And think of this as your body already setting up the alignment, the map of these poses. So we trust that we get really back to the spirit of vinyasa and flowing, which is breath to movement. So we begin by exhaling all the breath from the lungs. Together first, let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale your right leg back. Exhale, step through to lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Spin your back foot down. Come on up. Stay on the exhale, deepen into the front knee. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, 5-pointed star, toes out, heels in. Join your palms, exhale, horse. Bend the knees, hands to heart. Let's stay here and inhale the arms, sweep them overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, maybe sit a little bit lower. Inhale, 5-pointed star, parallel your feet, and exhale, hinge and fold, Prasarita. Relax head and neck. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower or straight to dog. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches back. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, warrior two. Stay for the exhale and deepen in. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Toes out, heels in, join palms. Exhale, hands to heart, bend the knees to horse. Stay in horse. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, sit a little lower. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Parallel your feet. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower or down dog. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here. Either here or child's pose is also an option. Whatever's going to allow you to integrate your experience. The feeling you're having, the residue. And this stillness allows the body to integrate all of that energy, to settle it down a little bit, and we can source from it. If you're in child's pose and you're ready to move on, come back to downward facing dog. From here, let's exhale all the breath. On your inhale, lift your heels, ripple forward to a plank. And from our plank position, come into forearm plank, lowering down to the forearms. You're always welcome to come to knees in that transition or just settle in. Now, forearms are parallel, or you can clasp the hands and make more of a triad between hands and elbows. Shoulders are down the back, so think of pressing down and forward. And once again, just like in plank position, your gaze is slightly forward, maybe a foot or two, so that your neck stays long. We want to avoid collapsing the head down and back. Now, at any point, you're welcome to come down to your knees. Take little breaks as needed. You can come right back or stay longer on your knees. Otherwise, you're pressing through your heels, lifting up through your thighs. Really focus low belly drawing in and up. This is going to bring your tailbone towards your heels, kind of point it that direction, and your pubic bone towards your sternum. We kind of do this checklist as we do this longer hold. We're here for a minute, so we only have about not too long left. But find your breath here. See if you can stay. We're here building heat, core integration. It's going to serve us moving forward in the practice. Staying with it. We're here for another 5, 4. Great job, you guys. 3, 2, and 1. Lower your hips down. Awesome job. You feel that heat now, right? All right, so we're going to counter that with a little seal pose. Similar to Cobra, we're going to bring our arms to a V shape. Tops of feet press down so you feel your legs engage, ignite. Exhale all your breath as you ground. And on your inhale, peel your chest up like you would in Cobra, but your hands will drag in and create a little traction. You can press into the hands as you settle in at the height that works for you. Think long through the low back, head of the arm bones back. Gaze can lift up or be forward, and keep the length in the back line of your neck. Stretching through the front line of your body, stretching the core we just worked. Take one more deep breath. And the next day, you can just kind of slide back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, turn your toes under, and you can either press to plank or to knees. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Finding your breath here, that newfound strength, and your nice deep breaths. Exhale all the breath from your lungs. Inhale, right leg reaches back. Exhale, step through to lunge. This time, warrior 1. Spin your back heel down so your left toes pointed about 10 or 11 o'clock, and inhale your arms, sweep them to the sky. This is a pretty big pose. It's similar to the same actions we find in our lunge, but now the back foot's down, so it creates a little bit more challenge. Take your hands to your hips for a moment. And from here, we can hook the right thumb in the hip crease, and we're inspiring that pull back like we did in that earlier twist. And you'll feel your left hip, hand on the outer hip, and a turn forward. And this is really stemming from your foot and your leg. Reach your left arm forward and draw your shoulder blade on your back, and then reach the left arm up. And from here, we'll hold on to this action in the legs and bring the right arm up to meet it. Now, baby fingers spin in, shoulders down the back. We really want to utilize the root of the back leg. So as in Warrior 2, the weight distribution is even at this point, so the torso's in the center. That will change in a moment. But pull your belly, your low ribs in. See if maybe you can deepen into the front knee a little bit more. Eventually, knees right over the ankle. Nice, Lexi, yes. Good. Take a deep breath here, and on top of this base, exhale, hands behind your back, interlace. Inhale, puff up the chest, roll head of arm bones back, and then exhale, slowly come all the way forward into Humble Warrior. Now, as you come to your full expression, you can relax the neck, gaze back at your back foot, or if you need a little more support in the neck, you can gaze inside edge of right foot, so neck has a little more engagement. Really calling on that foundation we set, outer left foot sealed to the mat, all 4 corners, and then we're driving this right hip back. Your shoulder might land more on top of your right thigh, or it might come inside edge, but we don't want to compromise the pose to get there. Just think of squaring your shoulders towards the mirror. These look great, you guys. Let's take one more deep breath. Exhale, by way of low back, bring hands to the mat. Yeah? Now lift your right toes, spin over your left shoulder, come to that wide-legged forward fold, halfway lift. We've seen that before. From here, turn your toes out slightly, take a deep breath, and exhale, bend into your right knee for a little side surfer lunge, Skandasana. You can keep your outer left foot sealed to the mat to start. This will target a little bit different area of the inner line of the legs and hips. Keep a tone to the belly and a nice long spine. You can always recruit your block underneath your hands if the floor feels like it's challenging to reach. From here, let's inhale back through center, and exhale, bend into your left knee, hands walk over to support you, right underneath you. And outer right foot, all 4 corners sealed to the mat. Think long through the spine, tone to the belly, which always helps to enhance the natural curves of the spine. All right. Inhale back to center, square off your feet, and exhale, pivot to lunge facing the front again. Now from here, walk your hands forward to floor or block, coming into one-legged half lift. Inhale, step into the right leg and left leg floats. Now the block can be really handy here to help level out the hips and to give more support. It literally just brings the floor a little closer to you. Soften your right knee so you can pull the right hip back to level them in space, and then reach back through your left leg. Take a deep breath in. On an exhale, Jiva squat. Chamber your left knee behind your right, curl and round in. Inhale back to one-legged half lift. And again, exhale, chamber the knee in. Press into the right foot. One more time, inhale. And exhale, chamber it in. We're gonna hold here for a moment. Keep right big toe grounded. If you want more challenge, hands can come to heart. Pinky is touching the knee. Thumbs are touching the sternum. Good. Bring your hands back to floor or block. Inhale, one-legged half lift. Exhale, forward fold at the top of your mat, feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sink the hips in, inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Now this time from chair variation, deep breath in. On your exhale, wrap your left arm underneath your right. Eagle arms. Pull your elbows down, set your shoulders on your back. And then with knees bent, you're gonna step into the right leg, lift the left leg up and wrap it around top. So left thigh meets right, we squeeze there, and then maybe it's a single or double wrap, but squeeze in to sit low. And then once you have that base, see if you can pin your left hip back a little. Bring your shoulders back over your hips. If you're there, you have the option to lift the elbows up to shoulder height and gently press the forearms forward. Take one more deep breath. Exhale, sit just a little lower. Good. And release. Inhale, arms overhead, unbind the legs. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sit the hips, and inhale back to chair pose. This time from chair, exhale your right arm underneath your left. Draw the elbows down, step into your left leg, lift the right leg up and around. Hug the thighs immediately as they meet. That's where we cinch it in, squeeze it in. Foot behind the calf or not. It can even be a kickstand on the floor if you need more support. Once you're there, center the hips, bring the shoulders back. And again, you have the option to lift the elbows to shoulder height. Gently press forearms forward to open your upper back. Fix your gaze, find your breath. One more deep breath, exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, release. Arms sweep to the sky, unbind the legs. Excellent, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Plant the hands, exhale, plank. Stay for a breath, and exhale, lower. Inhale, opens the heart, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, integrating that last experience and progression. You can always take those breaths, those cleansing breaths too on your own, in through the nose, out through the mouth. If you feel there's unwanted heat, that can be a great way to expel that. We're gonna get right into the other side here. So let's exhale completely, empty lungs. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, step through to lunge. Spin the right heel down for warrior one, toes about 2 or 3 o'clock. Inhale, the arms sweep up to the sky. Good. And like we did before, let's start by bringing hands to hips and really organize and activate the legs. Hook your left thumb in the hip crease this time, and you're gently pulling it back, inspiring this turn of the hips, but plug into your right foot and feel how that is coordinating that action as well. Right hand can come to outer hips. You can just kind of feel that. They'll never be anatomically square. We're just moving in that direction. Reach your right arm forward, and then bring the shoulder blade onto your back so your armpit hollows a little. Inhale the arm, reach it up, holding onto that action, and then mirror that on the left side. Really plug back into your right leg. Sometimes I even like to feel a standing strong in it. And then as we cinch up the core, belly, low ribs, nice and strong, see if you can maybe deepen into the front knee. Knee right over the ankle, spread the toes. Beautiful. Find your strength here. This is a warrior pose. And a challenging one at that. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands interlace, opposite interlace from before if you remember, usually the awkward grip. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, come all the way down, humble warrior. So stay facing the mirror as you come down. You can take your time. Eventually, option to release head and neck or to gaze more inside edge of left foot. Plug into the back foot, all 4 corners. And imagine your left thumb and your left hip, giving yourself that same little adjustment that turns your right hip forward as you squeeze your left hip back, giving you a little more space to eventually bring the left shoulder right inside of the left knee and thigh. Good. Take one more deep breath here. And then by way of low back, exhale, release hands to the mat. Lift your left toe, spin over your right shoulder, come half lift in wide-legged stance. Turn the toes slightly out again. Deep breath, exhale, bend into your right knee, so back of the mat. Now this time you have an option, a little variation. You can turn your left toes up towards the sky so you're on the heel. This is going to get a little more into the groin. If that does not feel good, you can always keep the foot grounded like we did before. Come back through center on the inhale, ground the foot, and exhale, bend over to the other side. Option to stay like we did before or turn the toes up. Keep spine long, belly in. And then coming back through center. Square off your feet first. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, pivot lunge to the front. And walk the hands slightly forward. Option hands to block. Inhale, one-legged half lift. Now we're standing in the left leg, so it's going to get nice and strong, but we want to soften the knee a little bit. That way we can turn the left hip back or pull the left hip back. Extend through your right leg, extend forward through the heart. Long spine, deep breath. Exhale, Jiva squat. Right knee chambers behind the left and curling around in. Inhale, one-legged half lift, extend. Exhale, chamber in. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale, chamber in. Now this time we'll pause here. Option to bring hands if you want a little balancing act. Again, pinkies to knee, thumbs to sternum, squeeze in. Active in your back, lifted foot. Hands back to floor or block. Inhale, one-legged half lift. Exhale, feet together, forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. This time, inhale all the way to stand. Arms sweep to the sky. Standing in your right leg, inhale, lift your left knee up for one-legged mountain pose. Good. Bring your hands to heart center, press them there, and then soften your right knee and cross your left ankle over the right knee for standing figure four. Keep your left foot super active, hips level. Start to bend your right knee. You can stay there, you can send your hips back and your heart forward as you lower down more. Eventually your gaze will want to come on the floor, maybe 4 feet in front of you, so you're not craning your neck to see yourself in the mirror. Keep a little lift of the left hip, hands can stay at heart, elbows might come to touch ankle and knee, or hands can come to floor or your block if that's available. Find what works for you. Target area is your outer hip line and glutes, and of course, finding your breath in this equation as well. Ground with your right big toe. Good. Now, nice focus, you guys. For those of you without hands to heart, bring them there now. We'll return to our one-legged mountain pose. On the inhale, arms up, left knee lifts, and then exhale, feet together, arms by your side. Inhale your arms overhead. Pause on the exhale. And then inhale, lift your right knee, find one-legged mountain. So we get a chance before we're folding to feel this balance here. Hands to heart center. Press them there. We'll keep a little more container of the body. Soften the left knee. Cross your right ankle over the left. Knees, hips in one line. And start to sit down a little lower, stay there, or send your hips back and heart forward as you lower more. Maintain that right hip lift. It tends to sag a little bit, so keep it lifted, right foot active. And again, you'll find your way to your full expression, either hands at heart, elbows touching ankle and knee, hands to floor or block. Make it about the outer hip line, and if you do have your hands down, you have a little more control to be able to lift your right hip up. Deepen your left hip crease back. That's it. Breathe in here. Breathing sounds great, you guys. If hands are not at heart, bring them there, press them there. Inhale, rise back up to one-legged mountain. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sit your hips. Inhale, back to chair pose. Now, not here long. On your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Lift your heels and slowly begin to lower your hips to your heels. Big move. Good. From there, drop to your seat and lift your legs for boat pose, Savasana. So hands can start here behind the thighs. Activate through your feet. Lift your chest, nice long spine. Keep your belly drawing in and up. And if you're feeling pretty good there, you can bring your arms out to the sides with the palms up. If you're feeling courageous here and you want to straighten the legs, you can do so. Be sure that your belly, your core strength is really what's driving this pose and not your hip flexors. If so, you can find somewhere in between, like a little 3/4 bend. Active through the fingers, active through the toes. The gaze is lifted, the spine is long. Take another deep breath. And then exhale, straighten the legs, release all the way onto your backs. Come into a full body stretch. Inhale, arms overhead, legs out in front of you. Good. From here, draw your knees in, bring your hands behind your knees. And you're gonna begin to rock and roll on your spine. Now gather a little bit of momentum for this transition. Keep your belly toned. And using that core strength, you're gonna come forward, perhaps right to a forward fold. You might have to cross your legs and make your way there. And get there as best as you can. From your forward fold, toe heel your feet wide to the edges of your mat. Turn your toes out and sit your hips for garland pose, malasana. Hands to heart, elbows to the inside of the knees. So we've made it to the peak of class, and what we're gonna do, you can either maintain this position if you want some more support while you watch my little demo. You can also take your block and sit on the block like this. That can take a little pressure out of the knees and hips. And we're gonna move into crow pose, and it's gonna look like this. From our position, we'll lift the hips up and we'll toe heel the feet together. You can also keep them apart. I find it helpful to keep them together. We're gonna bend the knees, bring the knees nice and wide, and plant your hands about shoulder width distance on the mat. Your gaze is gonna stay forward like we do in our plank and our forearm plank to keep the neck long and so we don't go rolling forward. You'll come up high into your tippy toes and bring your knees to the outer edges of your arms. You're gonna squeeze your arms in and you're gonna press back against them in order to engage the core and feel a lift. You'll lean forward. For some of you, it might just be about lifting one foot and then the other. For some of you, you might try lifting both feet or one at a time. We're keeping the gaze there. We're pressing down, we're squeezing, and we're pressing out. We'll stay here for a few breaths, and then we'll drop back down to this position. Now, you also have the option. You can stand on the block. Sometimes this makes it more accessible. It helps you get your hips higher. So the hands would come down, and it forces you to lean forward, which is what the action is you need. Again, you want to gaze forward, and one or both feet lift up off the mat or off the block. And you come down the same way. All right, let's give it a try. Block or no block, you decide. I'll lead you through it. So step your feet to touch, bend your knees a lot, and then bring your knees wide and to the outside of your triceps, outer arms, good. Hands are outer shoulder gaze is slightly forward about a foot or two. Start to lean into your hands, squeeze your legs to your outer arms and press your outer arms back into your knees. And then slowly, maybe lifting one foot, the other, maybe both feet. Beautiful. Remember to breathe here. It might be a little shallower breath, but make sure you're staying with it. Awesome, you guys. And when you've had enough, you'll bring your feet back to the mat. Yes, that was awesome. Good. From here, come back to a forward fold. So lift your hips, toe heel your feet, hip width distance. So open up the wrists after that pose. Lift up the toes, slide your palms underneath the soles of your feet so your toes line up with your wrist creases. Padahastasana, gorilla pose. As you inhale, think half lift, like you're gonna tug the hands out from the feet. And then exhale, fold, elbows bending out to the side. Head is heavy. Good. And letting the weight really roll forward towards your wrist creases. That way we get a little compression and we'll send some fresh blood flow to this area when we release in just a moment. And take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, release your hands from your feet. Toe heel your feet to touch. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank. This time, just a deep breath in plank, and on your exhale, downward facing dog, lift your hips up and back. We'll continue to cool down here. Inhale, right leg, reach it back. Half pigeon on your exhale. Bring your knee towards your outer right wrist line. Lay your shin across the mat at a comfortable angle for your knee, and you can use your block underneath your right hip for support, or you can always come onto your back for figure four if the knee needs more support than that. Walk your hands back, lift up through the heart, and turn your hips forward toward your left hip in particular, forward towards the mirror. Stay here or begin to slowly fold down into sleeping pigeon. Hands, forearms, forehead. Maybe finding what works for you. And as you find your way settling onto the mat here, really begin to shift gears. Finding your breath, allowing your body to begin to relax a little bit more. Ujjayi is a great place to center you. Make sure you're focused and present in your experience. And sensation is a great place to keep us anchored in experience as well. Maybe you notice how the sensation shifts and changes with the inhale versus exhale. Just being curious. And every time the mind starts to wander, we bring it right back. That's a big piece of cultivating discipline as well, is allowing ourselves to be present, to stay present for the entirety of our experience on the mat. And then we take that practice and our focus off the mat into our everyday lives. Let's take a couple more deep breaths here. And as you're ready to transition, slowly begin to walk your torso up. Turn your left toes under and step back to downward facing dog. As you come to down dog, you might want to pedal your feet out a little bit. It's kind of feeling a little different side to side or opening the leg. Another side, left leg, reach it back. Exhale, half pigeon, left knee towards wrist. Outer line of the wrist, laying the shin across. This side might feel a little different, so take your time. Keep active in the left foot, little tone of the belly as you back it up to find the length in your spine. And then exhale, slowly walk forward. Hands, forearms, forehead. And feel the earth inviting you to relax and soften in areas that need it most. Returning back to long, deep breathing. Making sure no areas are uncomfortable in the body. Tension is different than pain, so just recognizing that. As you deepen into your pose, you'll feel your body begin to shift naturally towards depth, just by these longer holds. Allowing the time, the permission to feel safe to let go. A couple more deep breaths. And bottom of your next exhale, slowly begin to travel your way back up the torso. Turn the right toes under, step back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet, just gonna feel again a new open hip. And from here, inhale, lift your heels, and on your exhale, come down to your knees. Walk your knees towards your hands and make your way onto your backs. We're gonna take bridge pose, so if you know you want your block for supported bridge, take it with you within arm's reach. And then come lie on your back, bend your knees, bring your feet hip width distance. And walk your shoulder blades underneath you, already creating a lift of the heart and open chest. As you exhale, press into your feet, draw your low belly in so low back touches the mat. Use that engagement as you inhale to lift your hips towards the sky, drawing knees towards the mirror. Now, if you want your block for supported bridge, you'll slide the block underneath now, and you let the sacrum drop onto that, but we still keep engagement in the legs. You can walk the shoulders underneath you, creating more of a shelf. Clasping hands is also an option if you choose. And then we meet the breath here. On the inhales, think of the lift that they create, the length through the whole front line of your body. And on the exhales, capturing, containing that length through pressing feet. Imagine there's a block between your inner thighs, you're hugging in, shoulders press, back ahead gently presses to keep chin away from your chest. And following the cycles of the breath here, the waves of the breath, the inhales to lengthen, the exhales to ground. Let's take one more breath. If you have a block, you'll lift your hips up, slide the block off. If you have a clasp, you release, and on an exhale, snake upper, middle, sacrum to the mat. Constructive rest from here, walk your feet wide, knees drop in towards each other, so we let the spine decompress after that move for a moment. 3 breaths is always nice after a back bend, so everything can settle. And then from here, walk your feet to touch, knees wide, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. And we allow the inner line of the legs to relax and lengthen and release. Hands can be to the sides, on the inner legs, or one hand to heart, one hand to belly, whatever feels intuitive and nurturing to you. From here, take your hands to your outer knees, draw them together, and draw your knees in. Give yourself a little squeeze here. Release your left leg down, but hug your right knee in around towards your right shoulder. Anchor the left leg as you hug the right knee in. Take a deep breath, squeeze. And on an exhale, supine twist. Left hand's gonna guide your right knee across the body. You might lift your hips and bump them a little to the right in that transition. You have a block, and if you want more support, it can go underneath your right knee. Reach your right arm out to the side, palm up, gaze is turned up, left or right, whatever feels good for you and your neck right now. It's more of this kind of guiding the position, no press or pull on that top knee. Just allowing the shape and the breath to work its magic. Inhale your right knee back in to center and draw your left knee in to meet it. Just kind of level the hips for a moment. And then we'll switch sides, release the right leg down, hug the left knee in and around, give a little squeeze. Take a nice deep breath in, and exhale, twist to your right. Guide the left knee across the body, scooch the hips underneath you. And then the left arm can reach out, or cactus arm, whatever feels good. Gazes up, left or right. And the block can support your top knee. Very nice and soft. Maybe eyes closed if they're not. Put about as much effort into this as we will in our final pose. Inhale your left knee back to center. Draw your right knee in and level the hips, hugging the knees in. And happy baby pose. Bring your feet towards the sky. Grab outer feet or ankles or shins if that's what's available. Press your feet into hands. Anchor shoulders on the mat. Tailbone is down. If the tailbone is lifted, you might grab higher up on the legs. Otherwise, press feet into hands, pull back. An option to rock side to side a little bit. It's getting into the nooks and crannies in our final active pose. And let's take one more deep breath. Exhale, release the feet, draw the knees in for one final squeeze. And release is to Savasana. Bring the legs down. You can spread out, pick up a little space or a lot of space. If it's more comfortable to bend the knees, incorporate your prop, do so. And find the space of complete surrender, letting go, feeling the support of the earth. Eyes are closed, so we turn inward, and we simply receive. All the effort that you put into your practice can now soften into complete ease. And we let the stillness of this posture work the magic. Slowly begin to bring awareness back into your body. Just feeling your breath, noticing inhales and the exhales. From there, you can begin to take more residence in your body, wiggling the fingers, the toes, maybe moving the wrists, the ankles. When you're ready, reach the arms overhead, stretch the legs out in front, full body stretch. And draw your knees in towards your chest. From here, you can roll right or left into fetal position on your side. Take a moment just to recalibrate this transition. And then slowly, when you're ready, make your way to a comfortable seat, top of your mat. And as you get there, if you opened your eyes in transition, just close them down. Bring your hands to heart center. You can feel the roots of your sitting bones, the reach through the crown of the head. And thank yourself for showing up to class today. Cultivating discipline to stay, to breathe, to be present. Inhale, thumbs to third eye center. And exhale, we bow forward. Namaste.